I want to tell you about one of the most charming men I ever went out with. And I don't mean charming in a superficial way. I mean the kind of charming where when you were with him, it felt like nothing else in the room existed. He had a way of making you feel like you were the only person there. Like whatever you were saying was the most interesting thing he'd heard all day. Like the whole world had just gotten a little smaller and a little better because you were in it together. I don't care who you are, that feeling can be intoxicating. And I almost let that feeling talk me out of what I saw with my own two eyes. We were at dinner. I think it was our second date. Everything had been great. Great conversation, lots of laughs, that easy feeling you get when you're with someone and you don't even realize how much time has gone by. And then something went wrong with his order. I don't even remember now if it was the kitchen or the server, doesn't really matter. What matters is what happened next. His whole energy shifted, and I could feel it. The warmth that was just there disappeared. And the tone he used with the server, it was over the top. He wasn't super loud and he didn't make a big scene, but it was sharp. That kind of tone that lets someone know that they are beneath you without ever having to say it directly. I just wanted to crawl under the table. I was so embarrassed. And then the server walked away to go fix it. And he turned back and said something like, "Why can't anybody get anything right? They're all like that." All like that. I remember thinking, all like what exactly? Someone who made a mistake at work? But you know what I said out loud? Nothing. I continued with our dinner and told myself he was just having a bad day. But he wasn't having a bad day. That was just who he was. And even though, when I went to the bathroom before we left the restaurant later, I found the server, apologized for his behavior, and made sure he got a really nice tip, I am not proud to admit that I went out with the guy two more times after that. And both times I was watching, not consciously, but somewhere in the back of my mind, I was watching. The next time we went out, everything was fine. The charming man was back. But after the time after that, I realized that what I was seeing was that the nice part of him is what he showed me and was being selective. It was for the people he was trying to impress or that he wanted something from. But for everybody else, he was impatient and judgmental. And when he was generalizing, saying they're all like that, which by the way drives me crazy, it's one of the most revealing things a person can say. Because what it tells you is that they move through life dividing people into categories: worthy and not worthy, important and not important, which honestly does not work for me. So I told him it wasn't going to work. But I want to be honest with you, and I no longer shoulda, coulda, woulda this because it's not worth the time and the energy. But I wish I trusted what I knew and saw on that second date because I already knew. My gut already knew, and I overrode it. I just really liked how he made me feel, and I wasn't ready to give that up yet. That is the charm trap. And so many women I know have experienced at least once. So here's what I want you to understand about charm. Charm is a skill. Some people are just really good at it. They know how to hold a room, how to make you feel seen, how to say the right thing at just the right time. And there's nothing wrong with charm. It's actually really wonderful when it's genuine. Charm can be performed. Character cannot. Character is who you are when you're not trying to impress anyone. It's how you treat the person who brings your food. It's how you talk about the server after they walk away. It's whether you're the same person in private that you present to the rest of the world in public. I believe this with everything I have. What you do when no one is watching tells you everything. And that's exactly why this server test works. Not because it's a trick or a game, but because at that moment, he's not thinking about impressing you. He's just being himself. And that person That's what you're actually considering bringing into your life. Actions speak louder than words every single time. A man can tell you he's a good person until he's blue in the face. But what he does when something inconveniences him tells you whether that's true or not. One of the things I started to look for, and one of the things I want you to look for, is what I call the same man in every room test. Is he warm with you and dismissive with the parking attendant? Is he gracious at dinner and condescending at home? Is he who he says he is only when he has an audience? A man with genuine character is the same person whether he's with friends, his family, a stranger on the street, or somebody who just got their order wrong. Not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're all human. We have to allow room for the occasional bad day. But consistency is what's important. That he's consistently himself, consistently kind, consistently respectful to other people's basic dignity. That consistency, that's integrity. And integrity is not a bonus quality. It's the foundation that everything else, trust, safety, and real love gets built on. Without integrity, you don't know. You don't actually know who you're with. You just know who they are when they're with you. And those can be two very different people, which doesn't work because you're never sure who you're going to get. And that's not good for your nervous system. So let me talk for a minute about accountability, because I think it's one of the most misunderstood green flags there is. A lot of men will say they take accountability. They'll say they own their mistakes. But watch what happens when they actually make a mistake. Does he get defensive? Does he explain why it wasn't really his fault? Does he find a way to make the conversation about your reaction instead of his behavior? Or does he just say it? I was wrong. I'm sorry. Here's what I'm going to do differently. That's it. That's accountability. It's not a performance. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn out explanation. There's no turning it around on you. Just plain, simple ownership. A man who can do that, who can look at himself honestly and say, that was me and I'm not proud of it, who owns it, that man has character, because it takes real strength to be honest about yourself. Most people would rather defend themselves than grow. Accountability is character in action, so watch for it. I want to tell you what it felt like when I finally experienced genuine character in a guy, because I think sometimes we talk about what to look for without talking about what it actually feels like when you find it. I'll be honest with you. I had met someone before Hugh who checked a lot of boxes on paper. He lived 4 hours away, but we were making it work. We were the same religion, had similar backgrounds, things that looked like compatibility from the outside. And then one day, he said something that ended it immediately. He told me that if my oldest daughter ever got married, he wouldn't attend the wedding because she's queer. That was it. Done. And I'm telling you that story not to shame him. He's entitled to his opinions and beliefs. I'm telling it to you because it made it crystal clear for me about what I actually needed and was looking for in a partner. It wasn't just someone who tolerated parts of my life. It was someone who embraced it. So when Hugh showed up, I want you to understand the full picture of what he was walking into. I'm Jewish. He was raised Catholic. My children are half Hispanic. I've been married twice before. I'm not a size 6 or even a 12. But not once, not one time has any of that ever been a problem. Not something to work around, not something to overlook, not something he has graciously accepted. It has just never been a factor, because he is not someone who moves through the world looking for reasons to judge people. And he loves all of my children, no matter what. He was open to learning about things that were new to him, curious actually. And I'll tell you something, when you've spent time with men who've tried to make you feel bad for choices that you've made in the past, Being with someone who looks at everything you are and says, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for, that's the best feeling in the world. He wasn't looking for perfection. He was looking for somebody he could trust, who was honest, who had integrity. Those three words, trust, honesty, and integrity, believe it or not, were in both of our dating profiles. It makes us laugh that we both wrote the same words. But we were looking for the same thing because people with character tend to look for character. You don't need the most exciting man in the room. You need the most trustworthy one. Because excitement fades, chemistry fluctuates. But a man who is who he says he is, in every room, with every person, on every ordinary day, that man will still be showing up for you 10 years from now. Integrity isn't flashy. It doesn't always make your heart race on a second date, but it is the only thing that makes love feel safe enough to really last. Watch how he treats people who can do nothing for him. Watch whether his private self matches his public one. Watch what he does when he makes a mistake and no one important is watching. That's your answer, right there in the small moments. And if you'd like to be on my mailing list, grab my free guide, Your Gut Was Right, 25 Red Flags That Are Trying to Save You Time, Heartache, and Energy. The link is in the description. And if this video helped you, please subscribe. Every week in this channel, we talk about real love, real growth, and what it actually takes to create the relationship you deserve, because your best relationship starts with you. See you next time.